Hi, my name is Jason Sparks. I'll be honest with you, I'm not good at this shit. So I'm going to be reading up a little script here, and just hope everyone takes it for what it is. So, as I said, my name is Jason Sparks. I'm making this video to clear the air my buddy Nathan Williams made concerning our time in prison with Ronnie Radke at Southern Desert Correctional Center in Nevada back in 2009. Nate, for his part, was well-intentioned, simply wanting to see Ryan Lewis and myself get some long overdue acknowledgement from Ronnie for having collaborated on writing and recording of Time Will Tell while at SDCC. And while he may have gotten a few of the facts mixed up, it wasn't intentional on his part. I can promise you he was there, he witnessed it. I want to preface this by making it clear this is not intended to be a slam piece on Ronnie Radke by any means. I followed his career since being released from prison and count myself as not only a peer, but also a fan of his. It's true that during our time in prison with Ronnie, there was a full functioning band room. In fact, I had donated over $2,000 in equipment to get it up and running prior to Ronnie's arrival on the yard. For those not in the know, there are some of the most musically talented people in prison you will ever come across. I had established a band called Panik before Ronnie showed up, and we had written and recorded some legitly radio playable songs. The only missing piece had always been a solid vocalist. Imagine my surprise while watching the news in my cell one day, and I learning of the former lead vocalist who escaped the fate was coming to prison. Obviously, I recognized the commercial value of collaborating with this dude, so I sent word to the homies in level 3 to send him my way when he arrived. Then one day, the spindly tattooed kid approaches me and asks if I was J-Dog. I simply shook his hand and replied, "Follow me." Honestly, the look on his face was priceless. He seemed confused, not knowing if he was in some shit or not. And as we entered the gym, I waved him down this long hallway to the band room. He was hesitant, but I assured him everything was cool. When we reached the band room, I threw the door open and we stepped in. His eyes immediately widened in shock. He threw his hands on top of his head as if his mind was blown, and he half screamed, oh my God," over and over again until he finally collapsed on the floor saying, "I'm home." We were all laughing at his response. It was pretty clear that Ronnie Radke had no idea there would be a band room in prison. We soon began practicing what would become the song Time Will Tell, along with my bro Ryan Lewis on lead guitar. Now the riff was one I had written previously but had no lyrics to. Ronnie added an intro piece and Ryan laid down a pretty sick lead part towards the end of the song. Honestly, I don't think Ronnie thought that the quality of the recording would be as good as it turned out to be, because after spending an entire week with Ryan mixing the tracks down and dialing it in, we had the finished song pumping through the PA system when Ronnie came bounding in one day, and again, threw his hands on top of his head as if his mind was blown and kept repeating, "Oh my God," over and over and over again. It was then that we had serious talks between Ronnie, Ryan, and myself to take our band to the streets, and at Ronnie's suggestion, we settled on Falling in Reverse. Now, whether or not he already had rights to the name prior to coming to prison, I don't know, nor do I care. But he definitely did portray to me and Ryan that we were the founding members of that band and would be in the band upon release. Now, the unfortunate part of this story is that having sent the SD card out with the recording on it, the card was accidentally formatted and the song erased. Now, keep in mind, we weren't allowed to have recording devices in prison. Therefore, the struggles in getting that equipment in there added to the tragedy. I'll leave it at that, other than to say I stand by the quality and recording and the radio playability of our recording of Time Will Tell with Ronnie Radke. He was excited about it as much as we were, and I truly believe it deserves and is worthy of being re-recorded and released. Time Will Tell, Ronnie Radke's lost prison tape. Has a nice ring to it, eh? If any of his fans are interested in finally hearing this track and bringing some insight and recognition to that phase of Ronnie's musical journey, then let it be known in the comments below. In the end, I guess only time will tell.